a double-edged sword when it's a real-life character. On one hand, you have enough information. On the other, you want to represent one.
You really do not want to screw the job up. You don't want to make somebody who really did something, risk his life to a degree, but really invest his life and invest everything that he knew into something. You don't want to play fast and loose with those facts. You don't want to take the cheap way out just in order to buttress up something that you think needs to be more romantic, more dramatic. Stephen is a great guy to work for in regards to that, because luckily Donovan, my character, wrote an awful lot about these very experiences, and I could go to him with little tidbits of things that actually happened, and he was willing to incorporate an awful lot of them into the movie. Sometimes they're small, but other times they're very large. Like, for example, there was a scene where Donovan is trying to go through passport control in order to get to the Russian embassy over on the Uniten Linden, and in the screenplay he was just arguing in English trying to make his way, but the fact is Donovan spoke just enough German in order to make his way. So I went back to the hotel and went on the internet and tried to figure out ways in order to speak German, and then I would test it out on the crew and say, do you understand what I'm saying right now? And they said, yeah, we think we know what you're saying. I said, that's as close as I want to get. So that's the type of authenticity that if you're smart and if you're working with somebody who's smart as well, you get to incorporate it into the movie.
Well, when you've worked with him 4 times, do you have now your habits, your own old couple kind of trick?
I know when he's pleased and I know when he's displeased. When you're not yet done, when you've done something that still needs work, he stands off to the sides and pulls his ear like this, because he's thinking about what needs to be done instead of what you just did.
Tell us about filming in Berlin, about Sebastian Koch, all those people you met.
I've been a big fan of his. He exploded on the American scene on With the Lives of Others, and it was very nice because we had I think probably 2 very, very, very tough days in which we were on our feet, communicating, arguing in this negotiated style. And that's a long day's work, and so I was able to call him up out of the blue. I walked across Berlin to his house. We sat and had a lovely meal. We spent the entire evening together, and we worked over the dialogue, we worked over the ideas. He asked me how Stephen worked. I asked him about how German cinema worked, and so that by the time we got to actually get on the set, we were very comfortable with each other, and we were very comfortable with how each other worked.
Finally, briefly about Homolog for a King, which you showed. Sorry, Hologram for a King. Do you virtually get to go to the Arab world in it, or do you virtually get to go to the Arab world in the film?
Yeah, we shot it in Morocco, which is kind of like the go-to nation for the Arab world. We had an awful lot of people from all over the Arab world working on.
Jay Abdo.
Yeah, we had quite a few. So the great pleasure of that was working with Tom Tickfer, who I'd worked with before on Cloud Atlas. So that was another example where hard-working, smart guys who liked each other went off somewhere and had a filmmaking adventure. I look forward to when that comes out as well.
Seeing it. Thank you so much. Cheers.